Hi, welcome to this episode of ComSpeak on Founder India. Today we have a guest with us who is a veteran of communications for close to 2 decades. We have with us Sameer Bajaj, Head of Corporate Communications, CSR and Corporate Affairs at Discovery Networks. Thank you, Sameer, and welcome to ComSpeak.
Thanks, Amit. Pleasure being here.
Great. So we'll start by asking you about how you got into PR. I know you began as a sales officer at Jet Airways, an airline which most Indians who traveled loved at one point of time. Sadly, we don't have that airline today with us. You began at Jet and then you moved to public relations consulting. Tell us about your journey and the start of your story in the world of work.
So basically, I think I spent about a year and a half in Jet, corporate sales. Fun job, because Jet was then the emerging airline and everybody, like you said, wanted to travel by Jet. But what I realized in my tenure was that the job wasn't challenging enough. And I was always wondering, what will I do next week? And I started exploring what I should do from here on, in the sense I had always interest in communications. And I think met a lot of people and then finally applied at IPAN.
Really?
And that's how my journey for PR, Corpcom, as you may say, started.
And did you miss your Jet Airways job when you began at IPAN, or you were completely fine and you began to go with the flow?
I think I took to PR like duck to water. I mean, I never missed Jet.
Nice.
I think.
So we'll cut to 2 years later. So you spent a year and a half at IPAN, another year at RIF PR, and then moved into the world of corporate communications on the client side with ESPN, which then became ESPN Star Sports and Star Sports. Tell us about that. How did that happen? How did you move at a young age with just 2 years of PR experience back in the late 90s, early 2000s to the corporate communications job?
So I'm a cricket nerd, a cricket maniac. I can consume any kind of cricket. So therefore, there's a natural repository which builds up of knowledge. And so my senior at IPAN, Meenu, met with the Corpcom head of ESPN, and they actually requested for a PR individual who is mad about cricket. So I was a natural name given by Meenu. That's how I got into it.
Right. And then you spent almost a decade, though the company changed its avatar in different ways. So tell us about your close to 10 years in the ESPN Star Sports family. How did that go about? Tell us about your various interesting things you did there as a corporate communications leader.
I think, ESPN and, in that era, again, India's #1 sports broadcaster, cable TV industry was booming. We practically had all the rights available. So we were in the news always on the front page, whether for the right reason or for the wrong reason. So it was, it was challenge on a daily basis, which was fun. One of the early learnings for me when I shifted from the agency side to the in-house comms team was that it's easy to suggest. But, when you're sitting internally, you need to implement whatever you're suggesting. The onus lies on you, right? And therefore, the responsibility of whatever you're suggesting is far deeper. And, it was good fun. I mean, being part of a growing organization which was practically changing the way India consumed cricket, right? And we were, looking at skinning, from a comms perspective, skinning what ESPN Star was trying to do and trying to impress upon the media how and what we're trying to deliver. So huge, because the money, I would say the acquisition rights escalated, the cost escalated over the years. And so did the pressure on ad sales, so did the pressure on different wings who were trying to monetize. So did the pressure on us. Because, there were always naysayers in the media saying cricket is not going to sell, it has plateaued, nobody's interested, blah, blah, blah. And you need to bring in your own narrative. You need to convince that this is what is happening on the business side. So I would say ESPN brought two broad sides to ESPN side, which was, one was the corporate narrative. From how cricket is doing, how do you control that? The second was, how do you build a particular property? How do you make it fun? For example, and I'll give you a very interesting example. So the World Cup was happening after the IPL, right? Immediately after the IPL, 2011. And there was pressure on us because media was not talking about it, right? And everybody was only reporting IPL. and therefore the market was not heating up for ad sales. So what we did was a press conference, or I would say media reach out, in which we got now Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan, Kapil Dev, Arjun Ranatunga, and Vivian Richards. So 4 key players who played important role in helping their countries win a particular World Cup. All the 4 had won a World Cup by then. And that was our thesis for this reach out. And in my briefing to the 4 gentlemen, I just told them one thing, saying, I'm nobody to talk you or teach you cricket. You know it. I just want you to say one line. If there is a query on IPL, just reply back saying we only talk national cricket. We only talk when teams are representing their countries. Nothing else. Just stick to this brief and rest whatever you like. It's your game. And that press conference was a major pivot in terms of how the media lapped up and how the coverage altered for the World Cup that year. And that helped, the ad sales to reach out.
So 10 years in one organization, I know the organization changed its name and got acquired and things like that, but 10 years is a long time in an organization. In today's time, we don't see too many people lasting close to 10 years in a corporate communications job, and that's phenomenal. And what happened then? How did your move from Star Sports to Amway happen? Tell us about that.
I think at ESPN Star and later at Star, broadly speaking, the job still was supporting marketing, right? I would say I was also reporting into a marketing head, right? And I wanted to get into an avatar in which the core of Corpcom comes in, crisis. And which is why when I heard of this position at Amway, I lapped it up. And frankly, God was very nice, because the managing director of Amway was arrested within a week of me joining there. So, I practically landed in a crisis, which is what I was actually looking at in my career. So, I look at those 35, 40 days when the then MD of this organization was under police arrest as probably one of the best days of my professional life. I felt sorry for the individual.
Right.
But if keeping that aside, the learning side, Drew, the experiences that you gain by working in such a crisis, position, practically alter your mindset for life.
Right. What else were your key learnings, both in your first job at Star Sports in Corpcom and in Amway, that still stand out for you? We'll come to talking about your learnings in your current job a little later, but what were your couple of key learnings in your Corpcom jobs? And if you want to go back to your first years in PR as well consulting, you can share those 2 or 3 learnings that really stand out for you and help people watching this show gather some ideas and insights from those learnings of yours.
I think, sometimes we have this optics of looking at stories from a tactical perspective. We can do 20, 30, 40 seats, 50 stories. But what happens over time, I've realized, is that, there needs to be a strategy, right? Because if if the strategy is not clear, these tactical interjections don't help in the long run. So you might be able to achieve a tactical objective by doing a particular story, but it needs to sieve into a broader framework that you've created for the brand that you work for. So a lot of times I've realized people jump straight into stories. Now I look at everything from a framework perspective. Is this story fitting in my framework? If it doesn't, then can I ignore it? And now with social media, there are so many other ways of, leveraging stuff or communicating your perspective on a particular point. So that framework setting to me is very, very critical. That becomes the base for everything you do in life.
Right. And then what led to you moving from Amway to Discovery?
Discovery, again, a very revered brand, the topmost, I would say, real life entertainment brand in the world. It extends so much of opportunities. The role in itself was bigger here. So I was looking at communications, corporate affairs, and CSR. Discovery lends you the power to influence the future. This power is something I was looking for, because ultimately, when I look at with my gray hairs now, I need to leave something behind for people to remember, right? And that will not happen with myopic, business-led objectives alone. They have to be met, mind you. But can you do something deeper? Can you do something for the society? Can you change benchmarks on how businesses are looked at? I mean, I look at Discovery as a very purpose-driven brand, right? Look at Animal Planet. Just a small data. India is 2.3% of land share. In this 2.3% of land share globally, 17.75% of population lives. With this population and this explosion of population in India, we still have 10% of global wildlife. India has 70% of tigers, 81% of rhinos. I can go on. In this beautiful country that we have, can I make people more aware of their purpose towards wildlife? How can I make people live their passions? This opportunity is what excited me.
Nice, sounds interesting. So over your 15, 20 years of working, I'm talking of your PR jobs, your corporate jobs, tell us a couple of people who stood out for you as leaders, mentors, people whom you learned and what you learned from them as well.
Actually, I'll name 3 of them, and all of them actually in my formative years, because I think that's when you get to, you're grinded and you know how you're shaping up. Right. So at IPAN, my immediate boss, Rakesh Tokral, is now heading Edelman. Very committed. He would make you think differently. Commitment is something which stood out. Passion and commitment for Rakesh, something I deeply am indebted to him for that. Meenu Handa is now with Google. Meenu again, very, very strong individual, strong personality, will speak her mind, will present her point of view, and a very strong point of view. In those age, in my, in those initial years, sometimes you're reluctant, on the agency side, should I say something which could be true, but maybe it's not nice to hear. Right. Meenu had the power. She had the gumption and the audacity, and I would say the respect she earned from the clients, that she could say what she wanted to. And that thing I really admired in her, and I wanted to, ingrain, and it's something I adopt internally very frequently. I speak my mind. The third person is Vivek Sengupta. Again, senior editorial individual, former editor, Telegraph, and you walk into his room with a paper, with your draft, and he, with his red pen, will, just jar it, come out the paper looking completely red. And in my about year and a half at IPAN, the first 6 months, I was always working late because my drafts were never approved. So I learned to start my drafts a week early so that I could hit time, in time. But the power of writing is what he inculcated me. The power of detailing, he inculcated me.
So you were out and out Delhi boy, born, raised, went to school, college in Delhi. You lived most of your life. So two things come to mind from that. One is, typically Corpcom has always been a profession that is more Bombay centric, and public affairs is Delhi. So in this kind of a scenario, how did you, you always had interesting jobs. I realized Star Sports, Discovery are both TV channels with interesting jobs, and then Amway had this interesting controversy as well. So how have you evolved as a person in the last 20 years in one city, one market, Delhi, doing several different things over the years, from Jet Airways, which is a small thing, but then PR.
It actually doesn't matter, Amit. In these days, we are so connected.
Right.
So, I'm practically in Bombay every second week. And it's a city I admire, Bombay, because of, the discipline the city.
I asked this question mainly because I have a lot of youngsters who ask me this question: which is a better city to start working in PR, Delhi or Mumbai? And I say either is fine, wherever you're comfortable with, but I think this insight will help them. Yeah.
Either is fine. You need to find your standing.
Yes.
You need to find your calling. You need to find what is it you want to do in life, right? If you're clear about that, cities don't matter.
True. So tell us, we'll just move away from work for a moment. Tell us about what you do to unwind, what you do for leisure time. How do you spend time beyond work?
A lot. Like I mentioned, cricket is one. So cricket, whether India or non-India, I consume everything. So, and then I think the second passion I have in my life is my kids. So my son is himself a cricketer, 10 years, a leg spinner. So a lot of time goes into that. I mean, on weekends, I'm always busy watching matches, driving him around. My daughter, she's into music. Again, busy with her, trying to make her explore herself more deeply. So primarily this, and I do a lot of reading as well. But
Do you also travel a lot on work within India and outside?
primarily India. Yes, there's a lot of travel. I mean, and my travel is also very interesting because I handle CSR for Discovery. So we have a project called Project CAT, which is conserving acres for tigers. And we are implementing it in Manas National Park. We are implementing it in Sundarbans. So a lot of time, I mean, I travel at least 2 to 3 times a year to these national parks to oversee what we are doing on ground as we try and protect our tigers.
Coming back to your current job at Discovery, tell us 1 or 2 things that stand out for you as unique initiatives that happened in your tenure in the last couple of years at Discovery, and talk about them as well, please.
I think the most important one probably is what we call the TV event of the year, the Bear Grylls show with Prime Minister Modi. Proud to be part of that. I mean, I thought a very interesting initiative, and because I handle corporate affairs hat as well, so the engagement with the PMO, very interesting stuff. I mean, it's something which I'll carry for the rest of my life. A lot of learnings to be made there.
Right. I mean, that was an event that had a lot of buzz and hype before it was aired on television, and then in the days that followed as well. And I think, if you enter that, work around that event for awards, I'm sure there are a lot of awards you can win in the coming year as well.
Yes.
You should consider doing that as well. But cool. Anything else that stands out for you in your current and previous organizations that you work for as campaigns that really made a mark and are case studies that people can look up, read, learn from?
So, at Amway, I was heading the CSR wing as well. And one of the important considerations I had in my mind was that whatever we do has to be long term. We will not do CSR for the sake of it. And the orientation has to be, how do we deliver impact on ground? And we actually delivered a project working with an NGO in Madurai, wherein we created a BPO, which is run and manned by visually impaired. It's a profitable BPO, still running, making money, and it employs 80, visually impaired. That project gave me a lot of satisfaction because, I mean, this is what you want to do in life, right? So can you do something which is self-sustainable, right? And you're empowering people in that sense. So it's a cycle that BPO has created because these 80 people who work, they gain confidence, right? Because they support in Tamil language, support for certain telecom players. And these 80 people, they gain confidence, they apply for government jobs, they get new job. And the vacancy they leave behind is filled by another visually impaired. So it's a cycle, virtuous cycle that you've created, right, which is self-sustaining, which is so much of fun. So, always keen to explore and see how we can do interesting projects on ground.
Right. So many of the guests on this show have been people who've only worked in corp-com jobs. You're the first one we have who's also had a couple of stints in a PR consulting job. So for younger people who watch this show and want to make careers in corp-com PR, is there a difference or an advantage of having started in PR consulting and then moving to corp-com, because you've done that, versus your friends and connections who just straight away from college or from some other job moved to corp-com? Is there a difference? Does having a PR consulting assignment before your corp-com job have an added edge or an advantage in some form?
It does, because I can actually help. I mean, I can understand what my team is thinking. So if there is a constraint which is put forward, I know I've done it and I've faced that constraint myself. So it makes you more empathetic. In one sense, also makes you more analytical, because you know that this is something which can be done. Right? This is something which is probably too far-fetched. So, from a team perspective, it gives you that deeper understanding of how to manage, right? And one of my learnings of working, being on the agency side initially, there were clients who weren't as nice. So that learning has stayed. So I'm a team person.
So what do you look for? What does Sameer Bajaj look for in a team member? If you were to hire a couple of people into your team, what are besides the skill set that they have to bring for sure, what are the things that you look for in terms of attitude and other things in that team member, team player?
What I look for, very importantly, is one, never say no, very open attitude towards life, and somebody who can accept mistakes. Because once you accept your mistakes, you will not repeat it next time.
Right.
So, but that openness of what I inculcate in my team is speak honest, be abrasive, and let's analyze what are the good things we have done, what are the bad things we have done, and how do we improve. Right. The orientation has to be positive ultimately.
True. Thanks. You've been observing the PR business in India grow in the last 15-20 years. What do you think can the Indian PR fraternity community do differently, do better to evolve to the next level? I mean, like we spoke a little while ago offline, there are a lot of things that people still do which is very in the 90s. What can they do to completely evolve, to make it more impactful, make a better impression on clients if you're a client servicing person, on bosses and organizations if you are in-house as well? Please share your thoughts on that.
I think we need to, a lot has changed actually over the last 10 years. I see a major progressive force coming into our industry, but a lot needs to be done still. I think in my view, just a media mindset has to change. I look at Copcom as the brand custodian, right? We are somebody we provide the third party optics to the management, right? So the role therefore is very critical. You are the knowledge manager, you are the brand consultant, not from a marketing perspective, because marketing looks at it from a sales angle. Sure. You are looking at it from a corporate angle. How is my corporate or my brand going to be looked upon by the publics I engage with? The role therefore, is much beyond media. I see a lot of times, a lot of focus being given on just pure play media, which is something we need to review and maybe explore other areas to ensure that we leverage the full power that, that Copcom gives to you. There is so much we can do.
Tell us about your childhood and your growing up years. I know you said cricket was your love, which is one thing we heard. Tell us about the school you went to, the family you grew up with, which part of Delhi you grew up in. Tell us more about that as well.
Born and brought up in Delhi, son of a government servant, very, I would say, very ethical, very proud government servant, an individual. I think I sometimes miss those individuals, the yesteryears. My father is now 85. Really admired him because of his straightforward attitude towards life, and it's something I gained a lot from him.
Coming back to today's time, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? You've been in 3 interesting companies, before that 3 other PR firms and an airline.
I like to explore myself deeper and see how I can contribute to the society. I think there's a lot of learning which has gone in the last 20 years, and I want to now see how I can go deeper. And I'm not keen on doing tactical stuff anymore. It's about now creating impact and giving it back to the community I've worked in.
Right. So if you have one piece of advice for younger viewers, younger professionals getting into the profession, have just begun their careers, what would that advice be?
I think one of the biggest concerns I have is I'll start from a very base level. I think in a communications professional, I look at 3 things. Base, writing. Second, media skills. And when I say media skills, it doesn't mean necessarily media relationship. That's one part of it. It's about understanding what can be shared in the media, how it is to be pitched, how we need to skin it, and guiding the internal forces so that they know that this needs to be done to create impact. So it's both outward and inward. And once you've got the good mix, then you go out. Because you cannot go unprepared to the media. Let's respect that third piece. The third thing is strategy. So how are you shaping the brand? So read a lot. Read 5 newspapers every day and write a lot. Because ultimately, we are communicators, right? We need to have the power to compel, to influence, to change the direction of an organization.
Well, thank you so much, Sameer. It was great chatting with you. Before we end, I'm going to let you go only after we do a quick rapid fire. I have about 7-8 questions for you. You have 3 seconds to answer each of those questions, and then we will call it a day. Yeah. What's the most trusted brand of yours?
Tata.
What's your favorite book?
Abhinav Bindra's gold medal changed me.
What's your favorite holiday destination?
I think any destination in Europe probably is better. It's a beautiful part of the world.
Name one person in this world who gets communications right, who you think, wow, he or she knows what communications is and gets it right bang on all the time.
You know, on Twitter, there's only one corporate individual I follow, Mahindra.
Anand Mahindra.
Anand Mahindra. I think he's not communicating from a profit metrics. He's communicating from an impact metrics. And that is where he is different.
Describe Samir Bajaj in 3 words.
Intense, passionate, loving.
Thank you. I think we'll end on that note. Intense, passionate and loving is very sweet of you to share. Thank you, Samir, for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed doing this as well. I'm sure a lot of people will learn new things from you and see your career growth and trajectory in a different light. I mean, I was surprised when I was researching about you to know that you began your career in Jet Airways and we started with that. But thank you so much for your time and all the best for what you do. I hope all your dreams keep coming true and you have a great life ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Thanks.